Okay, so you've gotten the white cross on that first layer. Now we need to place the corners on this first layer. There's one algorithm that you're going to need for this. It is RI, DI, R, D. Make sure as you do that, you keep your left hand, you kind of keep the same side of the cube facing you as you're working with these other two layers. So you can do, notice if I kind of keep my left hand over here, I can do R-I, D-I, R, D. And I still have the same side facing me. I still have this blue side facing me. This is pretty important to make sure you keep, you know where things are at all times. So let's see if we can get some of these corners placed on that first layer. Let's start with here. This corner needs to be white, blue, and orange. Let's see if we can find a white, blue, and orange corner. Where's my white? Oh, okay. It's actually up. It's up on the top side already, but it's not where I want it to be. So the first thing we need to do is kind of kick this corner down into the bottom layer where we can work on it without disrupting this first layer. So just do a RI to put this down into the bottom layer. Just move it out of the way, either direction. Yeah, either direction will work. But move this out of the way in the bottom layer, and then put this white piece back up top. So we still have the white cross up top. Now we've got our white and blue, or white, orange, blue piece out in this bottom layer where we can work on it without disrupting the top. Start with it. This is white, orange, and blue. We need to put it here. So put the piece you're working on directly below the corner that it needs to go up into. And then we just do our algorithm. So it's R-I, D-I, R, D. And you will notice right now it's in place, but it's misrotated, right? It's not sitting correctly. Don't worry about that. Do your R-I, D-I, R-D over and over again until this gets where it needs to be. So R-I, D-I, R, D. Still not right. R-I, D-I, R, D. Still not right. That's okay. Keep going. R-I, D-I, R, D. Let's give it one more try. R-I, D-I, R, D. Notice the whole time I kept my left hand with these same pieces, right? None of this cube over here moved at all, actually. It was just this layer and this layer. But now we have the white, blue, and orange corner where it needs to be. Notice we haven't messed up any of these edge pieces, actually, on the top layer, which is nice. Let's find another corner. Let's see. This happens to be the white, green, and red. Where does white, green, and red need to go? Remember, we can always look at these centerpieces to figure out what side is what. So white, red, and green needs to go up here. So put the corner you need to move directly below the corner that it needs to go to, and just do it our algorithm. So R-I, D-I, R, D. Lucked out this time, popped in on the first move. If it hadn't worked out, remember, just keep doing that R-I-D-I, R-D until this piece goes where it needs to be. And let's find another one. This happens sometimes that this piece actually was already where it needed to be. The white, red, and blue. It's just rotated wrong. So we can use our same algorithm to fix that. R-I, D-I, R, D. Just keep doing it. R-I, D-I, R, D. All right, that's in place. Only got one more corner left. It is the white, orange, and green. white, orange, and green is here. Rotate that bottom layer so that it's directly below the corner that it needs to go into. Just do our algorithm. RI, DI, R, D. Keep going. RI, DI, R, D, RI, DI, R, D, RI, DI, R, D. I think one more time we'll do it. RI, DI, R, and D. So there you are. First layer done. All the edge pieces are there and all of our corners are where they should be. And as usual, you can tell that by looking at those center pieces. Next stop will be these edges on the center layer of this cube.